Welcome back to Car Search. Racing legend Carroll Shelby already had a successful partnership with Ford, building the legendary Cobra. When the company management asked him to see what he could do with their immensely popular Mustang, the cars that rolled out of Shelby's Los Angeles factory enhanced the myth of both Shelby and the Mustang. We went to learn more about the early period of the Shelby Mustangs.
The first year of the Shelby was 1965, basically. It was just after the 64.5 Mustang had come out, and Ford had decided they wanted to really jazz up the image of the Mustang so it could compete with Corvettes. You can tell a Shelby from a regular Mustang in 1965 with the Shelby paint scheme. 65 Shelbys were white with blue, what they call the Le Mans stripes, the twin stripes that run the whole length of the car. And on the rocker panel it says GT350. When you're looking in here at the engine, you see some of the visual differences between a Ford K-Code engine and a Shelby GT350. First of all, you have the Cobra valve covers, which are polished aluminum. Below the valve covers are the tri-Y headers. Those headers, combined with the intake manifold and the Holley carburetor, are the three things that made the engine horsepower jump up from 271 to 306. The differences between the 65 and 66 visually came about because people were complaining that other than the paint scheme, they were really buying a look-alike Mustang. So the first thing that Ford and Shelby did was offer color options. The most important thing other than the color scheme differentiation was the now famous quarter panel windows and the side scoops. Even though the 65 was supposed to be a two-seater for racing, for the street, people wanted to be able to take their kids along for the ride. Starting in 66, the fold-down rear seat option was now standard on Shelbys. This is a dealer option that this owner has chosen to install. You've got dual AFB carburetors with a highly detailed valve cover setup. This car in 66 still retains the 289 K-Code Hypo block. In 1965, Ford had painted their V8 blocks all black. In 66, they switched to what's now known as Ford Corporate Blue. 67 was the year that the car had become bigger. So to go along with the bigger increased size, Shelby made a lot of cosmetic differences as well. He took the Cougar taillight panels and implemented them on the 67 Shelby. 67 was also the year that you had two different models, the GT350 and the GT500. The car had been redesigned, and so Shelby implemented a flip-up style spoiler for the rear trunk lid, and that makes it a very distinctive look. For the first time, there were now two scoops on the side. You had an upper scoop and a lower scoop. But what's really significant is the factory-supplied roll bar. No one had ever supplied a factory roll bar from a Detroit automobile before. They wanted the Mustang to have a big block engine. So Shelby decided, if a Mustang's going to have a 390 cubic inch engine, we should go one better. So they went with the 428 cubic inch Police Interceptor block. That's what's in a 67 GT500. Ford had some quality control problems with local fiberglass. Shelbys were being made from 65 to 67 in Los Angeles. At the end of 1967, he lost his lease. That was a perfect opportunity for them to take over production, and they moved it to Ionia, Michigan, where Shelbys began to be produced starting in 1968.
When we come back, Craig looks at a mint condition 67 GT500 in the garage. Don't go away. Welcome back to Car Search. Craig is in Scottsdale with the star of this year's Palm Beach auction, a 67 GT500.
This is what you really look for. You want to go out and buy just a top-of-the-line GT500. I like to start with the fit and finish. On these particular cars, they had to change the deck lid and the hood to fiberglass after getting the cars from Ford, so these didn't always fit that well. This one fits as nice as any that I've ever seen. This hood fits as good as I've ever seen on one of these. Typically they'll have a bow in here on this fiberglass hood. So we look under the hood, first thing you'll see here is that mammoth engine, the 428 Police Interceptor engine. The options on this car, the power steering, the power brakes, it has two 4-barrels on it. Also, air conditioning. In a GT500, there are no numbers on the engine to tell you if it is matching numbers. The numbers we really want to pay attention to are the numbers on the Shelby tag here. The Shelby number on the top will correlate to, we're very lucky with these cars, to the Shelby register. Underneath the Shelby tag is the Ford number. All the Shelby numbers and the Ford numbers are known. And these cars are some of the most documented cars that there are. When you drill one of these tags and find the Ford number, you call SAC, you tell them what the numbers are, they'll tell you if you're right. So the one thing that's easy to spot and decode is the Shelby number that is here on this tag. Let's decode it now. First digits stand for the year, 1967. The 4 correlates to it being a GT500. We'll tell you that it has got the 428 Police Interceptor number 1. This tells you that it has the automatic transmission in it. 3 tells you that the car came with air conditioning and Thermactor exhaust. F, that it's a fastback. 7 is your paint code, which is lime green. The A is your trim for your interior, that it is black. And the last 5 digits will be the sequential production number for Shelby America. As you decode the Ford number that is underneath the Shelby tag, it should read 7R02Q. The Q is significant because all GT500s have a Q. You look at the interior, first thing you'll notice is that it has the aluminum. These all had deluxe interiors. Special Shelby items were the wood steering wheel, shifter knob, the roll bar, and they had these inertia seatbelt system in them. The fold down rear seat. You look at a Shelby, it doesn't have any of these components. That's caution. I'm going to rate this car at a 1-. The only deduct I could find on the whole car is that he put driver tires on it. Other than that, the paperwork on this car, the restoration portfolio, the quality of every component throughout this car is absolutely perfect, and it has all the rare components on it. The GT500s right now, these cars are bringing world record prices. This one in Palm Beach brought $189,000. These are very rare cars. The GT500s, they made 2,048 of, but the GT350s that we haven't shown yet are even rarer at 1,175. If I was going to go out and buy one right now, I'd look for a GT350, and there's a lot of upside in those still.